So you agree that it's a 400% increase?
Well, math doesn't lie. I can't argue with you on that.
So 400% increase. Just curious, do we have any other constitutionally, a constitutional right for which we charge? And if we do, have we had a 400% increase on that particular Second Amendment, or on that particular constitutional right?
I would say if you want to consider the right to leave our country, a cost of a passport is in there, and the current cost of a
passport's a constitutional right?
Well, the right to free travel, if you want to consider that. I mean, it's not necessarily written in the Constitution.
What could you? I'm not familiar with that constitutional amendment. What number is that?
It's not necessarily in an amendment, but I would say the right to travel certainly would go under right to move around or whatever, so that you're not held captive. If you want to go that way.
All right, I'll get with your staff later and find out which constitutional amendment says I can travel. Okay.
Many of the folks in here, including most likely you, Representative Willis, believe that this was too much of an imposition on the right to vote. It was unduly burdensome to the ability to carry out a legitimate constitutional right. Considering this position, how is it not an inappropriately high imposition for them to have a photo ID in order to get fingerprinted, to get a FOID card, for their right to own a firearm?
I'd also further state that nobody died from voting. That's not necessarily the same from being on the wrong side of a firearm.
Regulating business. Number 4, does this make the scope of government less or greater? Well, that's the biggest problem that I have. Government does not need our fingerprints. They don't need the fingerprints of a law-abiding citizen. I'm curious where to find the facts of the many crimes that have been committed throughout our state, especially in the Aurora area. How many of those people who committed these crimes had a FOID card? Government needs to hold government accountable to do what we ask them to do here. This bill is a total and complete infringement of the Second Amendment and the Bill of Rights of the United States Constitution. Yesterday, I sat here and I listened as many of you invited people from neighboring states to come to Illinois and get an abortion. What on earth is going to keep anyone from bringing a gun across the state lines? I do not understand that. I do not get that. Bad people are going to do bad things, and it's high time that we start punishing those bad people for doing bad things in an appropriate way instead of burdening our citizenry. Everything about this is wrong, friends. I've been saying that several times this week. This is not right. This bill creates a financial burden on Illinois families. It infringes on the very freedoms that make this country the most awesome country in the world. Friends, I'm afraid that the passage of this bill is going to take this state to places that we don't want to go. We are here to figure out problems, and instead, time after time and after time again, we believe that throwing money at the problems and creating more regulation is the answer. It's not the answer. Let's deal with the problem. Please, let's deal with the problem. Thank you so much.